Another Mids Watch, guys. Enjoy yourselves. This one's going to be fun. It's going to be a little shorter, though. This is about covert contracts. What can I say? The should I stop initiating? Yeah, you're going to like this one because Rollo had a great article about defining purple pill, essentially. It's those guys that are red pill, aware, which is our tongue-in-cheek way of saying a guy who didn't do anything but read some books. And blue pill, which is generally guys who act for the best interest of women instead of themselves. And you mix those two together and you end up with what's called a giant covert contract. And I think this guy's a great example of a pitfall that a lot of long-term relationship guys, I should almost call it short-term because it's usually like less than a year. Although I think this guy is 3 years. So, I mean, it counts as an LTR, but I would consider this a cautionary tale, especially the guys who have never had like their Chad phase. They were never the top tier guy. They were kind of like what they would call a beta male, and then got his act together, started getting some attention, but he still kind of had that tinge of beta male in his back brain. And so he uses red pill understanding to try and achieve blue pill goals. And then you end up with problems like this. Now, Jack has a really short contribution to this one, which is extremely rare, which is why I've included this. If you guys don't know, if you found a comment of his that was less than 5,000 words, then you're basically finding a unicorn. But it's good there's been some conflicting advice in the Married Red Pill about initiating with your long-term relationship, especially when you're running Dread, and what should you do there. And I think this hits on a psychological need that guys have to act like damaged women. And I don't know how else to word that. It's going to sound pejorative, but it's not like making fun of them, like calling them a stupid cuck beta male or any of that crap. It's just... It's a goofy model that just doesn't work. So we're going to take a break here in a second and just get into the details of it, as well as introduce you to a few other old school members of the place. The one's going to be Fear Dog, he was a moderator from before my time. He actually came and went before I even showed up. So I don't know anything about him other than the occasional posts he had, here, there, and everywhere, as well as Blue Pill Professor, who's a bit of an infamous card. A lot of people hated him, and he had a bit of a LARPer attitude to him, but I mean, he had a marriage license or marriage certificate for counseling. So it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. It's just I think he was more enjoyed to have like a group of guys around him than he was to actually fix his things. So when I usually talk about the Clubhouse effect or guys that join the Red Pill just to have somebody to talk to, I'm like, you're kind of doing it for the wrong reasons. And he was a good example of that taken to the extreme. But a switched on guy, I consider him a friend, so I don't want to dunk on the guy here. Stratos Autocrator, he's another one. He was a moderator. He was actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was the guy that recommended me to moderate. So back in the day when I became, I don't know, what's lower than Z-list celebrity or Z-list celebrity. So that was pretty neat. He came and he went. In his case, he ran his map, but it was too late. He was essentially going to get a divorce, went through his thing. I mean, it happens. A lot of the purple pill people love to say, well, a bunch of them are divorced, so clearly this stuff doesn't work. And we're like, yeah, the goal isn't longevity. That's not a male goal of success here. Is the guy happy and fulfilled is the success. And sometimes it involves leaving your bitch wife. So it is what it is. Anyways, we're going to take a break and we're going to get into it. So Op asks if he should stop initiating. And it's a basic question. He swallowed the pill 3 years ago. Now, just take a quick pause here. It's just, I honestly hate when people start using metaphors for how long they've been a subreddit member, or they always say it's take the red pill. I swallowed the red pill. And then you see more convoluted stuff like, well, I spit it back up, or it didn't taste good, or it's coated with, it's a blue pill coat, all this crap. And you're just like, dude, just mention your problem. You don't have to go through this big convoluted tale of bringing the ring to Mordor every goddamn time. But whatever. You're going to see me kind of ramble about it because there are going to be a lot of these ones. So he was in a relationship for the past 2 years, and he's at the peak of his game in every aspect of his life. His girl almost never rejects him, has an incredible sex life, except for she never initiates. She shows her desire for him in other ways, squeezing his butt, complimenting his appearance, cuddling up to him. He's concerned that her lack of initiating is a red flag. So what do you think? Is that a red flag or just the way women are? Should I just accept that it's upon me to initiate sex or get her to initiate? Thinking that perhaps, since I initiate almost every night, she never really had a chance to. Now I'm thinking of stopping and seeing if, maybe after a few days without sex, she might actually initiate. Does my reasoning make sense, or am I fooling myself into something? Do you think my suggested approach is a good idea? I would greatly appreciate any thoughts or advice, even if it's to tell me I'm completely wrong, as long as you explain why. Thanks in advance. I don't know. There's something about... So we created Ask Married Red Pill as like a sister subreddit to the Married Red Pill. And everybody thinks it was so that we could dole out information, but that's not the case at all. The problem was the Married Red Pill was full of field reports, wrapped around theory, actionable advice with a single own your shit weekly thread where guys would talk about their stuff in like a locker room setting. And it turned into a whole bunch of like crap tier guys asking questions and then everybody else giving advice like they're experts. Half of the time it was people that weren't even part of the subreddit saying the most ridiculous stuff. And we're like, let's sandbox all the artards into their own place. So just by posting here, you have to accept that the person who wants the advice isn't going to take it. He's wasting your time. And if you want to go in to practice a concept or to see if you understand it, that's great. But don't think of this as like getting any work done. I mean, case in point, what value am I finding out of it? Just relaying these ideas to you with some op who never even applied any of it and just kind of went about his business. Probably didn't even come back to check out the thread. And Fear Dog with his nice pithy comment. Are you sure you swallowed this 3 years ago? Maybe you just took a little bit, settled into an LTR, and now you're required to actually try it? Would it make you feel like more of a man if she initiated? This sounds like validation-seeking behavior to me. Stopping initiation to try and make her initiate sounds like it's a butthurt weakness. If you want sex, initiate. And then another guy right below him, yeah, it's a covert contract, man. Fuck all these covert contracts. And that's the point. Covert contract. And again, out of all the concepts, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a big fan of, what are the big ones now? The Fresh and Fit podcast, or what's Jester's? Better Bachelor, or what are the other? Kevin Samuels. I think those are like the three big, wink wink red pilled things on YouTube right now. So I'm not shitting on them, but I'm saying the one thing they love to do is tell women how they ain't shit, which is fine. But most of the time, women being shit or being ain't shit isn't going to be the deciding factor in whether you have a good experience or a bad experience with women, because women are reactive. And of all the strategies that guys can perform to ensure they have a better go of things, I mean, short of like all the basic be attractive stuff, like don't look ugly, be attractive, aloof, and that, I would say it's shedding covert contracts. Shedding covert contracts has got to be the biggest bang for your buck of anything a red pill guy can do. And I mean this. There's a term that came from Dr. Robert Glover. Yeah, we had a therapist that's basically made like the best red pilled content, like fundamental stuff there. So you can't say that we hate therapy. We just hate aspects of it that weren't working for us. But so if you don't know, what is a covert contract? And a covert contract is where you have a reciprocity expectation. If I do this, she'll do that, and we can't speak of this contract. In his case, it's flat out perfect. Like, I'll go back to it here, but what does he say? He wants her to initiate more. He initiates every day, so maybe if he stops initiating, she'll do it. And right there, he didn't tell her that's what he's doing. He just expects her to figure it out and do the right thing. Now, these are bad for a few reasons. First, girls can't read minds. I don't care what, female intuition thing they've told you about, but they can't read minds. So if you change your behavior, girls don't know how to read your mind because they're busy putting it through their solipsism filter. Basically, everything is about them and they're the center of all this thought process. So if you stopped initiating, that must mean that you don't find her attractive. That means she gained weight. That means you're cheating on her. Like all these things. But it's all being done to her. It's not because you want some validation and that a girl wants you so badly she's willing to jump your bones, right? So they don't think that way. It's a great example, but I've been 10 minutes in, but just now bringing up Jack stuff. So we'll get to there in a second. Let me take a quick break. I love how he pulls no punches at the start too. Everybody's shitting on you here because you're phrasing your issue very poorly. You want her to seduce you. You want her to work for it. You want her to be so starved for your attention that she texts you all day about how bad she wants your cock in her mouth and makes sure she's wearing your favorite lingerie when you get home. And I can already tell you, your sexual market value or your attractiveness, whatever you want to call it, is nowhere near high enough to get your girl's juices this fired up. My wife pulls out the sex for attention move sometimes because I'm a busy guy. I've only got a few hours of downtime a week. And the sex is great and all, but sometimes close to a full week passes and I'm barely thinking about sex because I'm too busy trying to improve and succeed and accomplish other things. A quick pause in this, by the way. This is something too that nobody ever tells you about getting older or into a relationship or kind of like at the end of your red pill journey in general, because even single guys have this, where you kind of join because sex is everything. I can't get laid, or it's too hard to get laid, or my wife doesn't touch me, and all these reasons, and it's all sex. But you get the guy to a point where he's having sex on the regular, where he's got, a harem or whatever success metrics you want to have for sex, and they're there. And then they realize that sex isn't everything. And we've all been through it where you're basically so busy for an entire week that you forgot to try and smash that week. You're like, oh, fair enough. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like eating. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Whatever. Does it make you an alpha male? Like, who fucking cares? You're busy trying to live your life. And it's on your terms, not on the terms of some marketer who's trying to sell you a Gumroad course on how to, what's the newest one? Like how to pick up girls on Snapchat. Because I guess we just don't talk to people anymore. Although I guess COVID's a thing, so maybe we don't talk to people anymore. Anyways, I'm rambling here. I'm going to get back to the story on this break. So early in Jack's marriage, his wife would whine and complain when this would happen. She didn't feel like a priority, and I told her that pretty much was her problem. If she wanted more of my attention, she could offer me things to encourage the attention. And by the way, whining about not getting enough attention when I was giving her attention is not a good way to get it. Maybe she should try something else. So my wife did the whole lingerie thing when I got home later that week. She was almost spiteful when she did it, like she was trying to prove a point. Look, I bet if I get all sexy for you like some cliche, you'll still just blow me off and want to do other things. But no, it didn't. We smashed. A lot. And then we did other things. Then she pulled the whole, you only want me for sex card. So I pointed out no, but sex is something she can offer that nobody else can. That's not the only card she can play for my attention, but it's the only one that she's the only one that has that card, and it sounds like she was the only one who's even thinking about it. So yeah, I'm gonna react positively to that card. She can try to play other cards though, and I can react positively to a lot of things. Sex is just one of them. So that Friday, I came home, she made cocktails, asked if I wanted to hang out on the patio. That sounded pretty great, so we did. I guess I didn't really want her for only sex after all, so if you want more sexual eagerness from your girl, you're gonna have to do something like this. Fill your life with value, and soon it'll be clear she needs to add a lot of positivity to your life if she wants to share that value. Simply withdrawing sexually isn't gonna do shit except for make her relieved that her sexually needy boyfriend maybe found something else to spend his time with instead of nagging her for sex. And that's kind of the point of all this thing. To get to the key here. There's the fake it till you make it. And part of like running dread at the beginning is very much that. You don't have anything better to do. I mean, if you want to have the ideal sex life from a relationship standpoint, then what you should be doing is essentially what the single guy who has 5 girls on speed dial is doing. The game doesn't change. Just because you're married doesn't mean you get to wear jogging pants every day. Now, obviously, you're going to get, more sex with less effort from a relationship anyway. So you don't have to work that hard, and that's fine. Take advantage of that, because God knows there's so many things better you could be doing with your time than smashing, especially if it comes to making that 6-figure side hustle or buying that new Lamborghini or whatever goals you're supposed to have today. I don't even know. But you make yourself attractive by making yourself have options and abundance. And everybody always thinks that just means, well, abundance. That means I have to have 5 girls jumping on my dick or my wife won't like me. It's like, no, man. You just have to have your life unlocked to the point that your time becomes a valuable resource. Like Rich says it all the time on his show. Chase excellence. I mean, it's good in that you can fill excellence with whatever meaning you want. But to be more specific, yeah. Money, status, what's the other one? Money, status, career, life fulfillment, and poon. I think it's about the 5 things. I think, is that Maslow's hierarchy? I think poon's number 3. But no, in general, if you look at it like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs thing, it's exactly what it is. Safety, or survival, safety, belongingness, esteem, actualization. And all those things, if you, and you have to do them in order. That's how psychological disorders develop, is when you kind of skip steps. That's why guys who have no friends who make a fortune and get the esteem of their peers end up being pretty miserable. Just like I was talking before on I think it was the last episode about the healthy gamer, or the healthy gamer guy, whatever his name is, I don't remember. She wants to be friends and get help moving furniture. He threw out his back and really wanted to smash. So as a guy, if you're worried that your wife isn't initiating enough, the answer to that isn't to make some covert contract where you basically stop doing it. I mean, that's what shitty teenagers do. I'm sure you've ever had a college roommate who used to take out the garbage every time, and he saw every time he took out the garbage, but he never saw every time you took out the garbage. And then just to make a point, he stops taking out the garbage, and then he waits to see how long until somebody else takes it. It just creates a bitter cycle of resentment, and that covert contract is exactly what it is. When all you had to do was say, hey, Bill, take out the garbage. It's like, yeah, sure, man. Thanks. Instead, this guy, what he should be doing is making himself scarce, making himself busy. Still initiate. I mean, if you want to have sex, initiate sex. It's God knows. But in the same way that guys need regular sex, girls need regular validation. And when your time is split up amongst 8, 9, 10 other activities that take a monopolized portion of your time, a girl has to go through her own little self-improvement journey where she thinks, okay, there's this guy, I like him, I want to smash, I feel the tingles for him, but I need to get his attention and I don't know how. And yeah, sometimes being sexually available and enthusiastic is the easiest way for a girl to get your attention. A lot of guys don't like this advice because they think it means, well, that's just some stupid game and they're pulling a fast one on you. It's like, no, man. Girls aren't guys, and I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this until they understand it. Ian Ironwood, great post on this one, the praxeology of the dominant male. I've referenced it more than I've referenced Rollo's work, any single article of Rollo's, or all of them combined. In that one, it's a girl who's suggesting that she is having trouble finding men, so she eventually followed his work, and she found herself a red pill man, and she couldn't be happier. But she talks about it like she pulled a fast one on him. She says she just started acting feminine. She stopped bragging about her job. She lost some weight. She started to act sexually available and pleasant. And then her man, she tricked him. It's like, now he doesn't know about any of this stuff. He thinks he's got himself a trad wife, but he's really got me. And then Ian's kind of like, yeah, it's like, nobody can read your mind, woman. If you're acting right, that's all that matters. Guys don't care that you're feeling it. Everybody's getting what they want, and you think you've tricked them. If that's what you have to do to feel cool with it, then let's go for it. But again, nobody cares what's in your head. They only care about how you act. And the beauty of this is because girls have a validation model of sexual relations. They're happy as sin. They may think they're pulling a fast one on you. They think they're tricking you, like, oh, I'm manipulating them into liking me by acting like a good person. It's like, well, if all you're doing is acting like a good person, aren't you? It's like, no, in my head, I want to do some bitchiness. It's like, oh, but you didn't. You saved that for rambling on the internet, right? And I think that's the funny thing that most guys don't understand about genuine desire, is they realize it is and it isn't a conscious choice for women. Like, they can make a choice to be feminine and petite and desirable, and they only do that if it's towards a man that they like they have the genuine desire for. But the genuine desire isn't what's causing those actions. And I think by people thinking that genuine desire means she's trying to like suck start you on a Tuesday afternoon, it's like, no. The genuine desire is what encourages her to act like that, trad wife wearing the negligee, putting the boobs in your face kind of stuff, smacking you on the butt, or going down on you while you're trying to get some work, like all that stuff. So yeah, genuine desire is something you can't negotiate. But the thing that a girl negotiates with herself is how to carve out your time once she has the genuine desire. And that's where it all comes through. And it, like I said, in Jack's case, all he had to do was just offer her what do they call it, like a come to Jesus speech. It's not quite a come to Jesus speech, and we'll get into that in a later episode, but leadership. He guided her. You're so busy. How come you don't want me anymore? Dude, if you want my attention, just be more valuable than this work I gotta do. Wear something sexy and we'll have some hot steamy smash sex, and then you'll probably get my attention. And she did it. She's like, I'll teach him. He's gonna still shoot me down, and he didn't. She's like, oh, it worked. Well, now the only thing you want from me is sex. He goes, no, I want a bunch of stuff from you. Sex is just the only thing you can offer. Try some other stuff. So she tried making drinks, cooking him dinner. He's like, yeah, that worked too. And that's red pill, man. That's red pill. That's a guy who understood that his time, his attention, and his commitment were not unconditional, and that you should give those out as gifts for somebody when they provide value. And it's a nice little example of it. So, bit of a shorter episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep these models in mind and use them in your own relationships, whether they're month 3 or year 20, because I guarantee you it's going to work the same for all of them. Heck, it's a more condensed and extreme version, but even single guys can kind of pull some stuff off with this one. Just realize your cuddles ain't free. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.